Hi everyone, this is May Park. I hope you guys having a great day. Today I'm going to show you how to color your floral bouquet image using a quick and easy watercoloring technique with Peerless watercolors. This video is part of Pinkfresh Studio February release blog hub celebrating a release of new stamps and dies. Make sure to check out the Pinkfresh Studio blog for more details and leave comments for a chance to win a $25 gift certificate to the Pinkfresh Studio online store. Before I start, I'm going to give you a quick preview of Pinkfresh Studio February release products. If you don't want to watch, feel free to skip this part to jump on the card making process. Now I'm going to turn on some music while I'm showing you the new products, and I'll be back soon. This is the Floral 1 stamp set I'm going to use in this video. I really love this big floral bouquet image with very thin outlines, and I thought it would be perfect for creating a delicate watercolor card. I already pre-cut my artist cold press watercolor paper in the 0.25 inches by 5.5 inches, and I'm going to place my watercolor paper inside the original Misty stamping tool. You can use hot press watercolor paper if you prefer smooth surface for your stamping. I'm pulling out my stamp from the Floral 1 stamp set and moving around my stamp to find a perfect placement. I'm using the sentiment stamp from the Till Life for a Day stamp set to reserve some room for stamping my sentiment later. Once I'm happy with the placement of my floral bouquet stamp, I'm going to ink up the stamp with the Simon Says stamp Intense Black ink, which is waterproof. Then I'm closing the Misty cover to stamp the image onto my paper. Since I didn't get a good impression, I'm going to stamp the same image one more time to get a nice and intense impression. I'm going to use Peerless watercolor sheets, and this is my own watercolor swatch book. Peerless is one of my favorite watercolors as they have such bright and vibrant colors. Once I pick up some pigment from the watercolor sheet with my wet paintbrush, I'm going to apply the color to the bottom of each petal. Then I'm going to rinse my paintbrush off with clean clear water and remove the excess water using a paper towel. Before the previous stroke is dry, I'm going to go over the paint to diffuse the color using a wet paintbrush and pull the color out from the darker stroke. To create a gradient look of the color, it's important to wash your paintbrush with clean water in between before you pull out the color. I'm going to repeat the same process to color my entire image. While the color of paint is still wet, you can add more pigment to add some shades using very little water and more pigment. If you added too much pigment onto your image, you can pick up the color using a paper towel. You can keep adding layers until you achieve the dimension and shading you want. I'm not going to color entire images as I just love the white space left here and there, especially on my leaves. If you let the paint dry between applications, you will leave harsh lines between layers. If you don't like those harsh lines, you can soften the hard edges using a moist paintbrush even after the paint is already dry. If you make a mistake with your watercolors or you have some paint went outside of outline, you can fix it by adding some clean clear water on the paper and picking up the colors with a paper towel or paintbrush. Just paint in the shape you'd like to lift out using a clear water and dab away the water with a paper towel. Now I'm going to turn on some music and speed up the process so you can watch me color. I'll be back once I'm done watercoloring my floral bouquet image. Once my watercoloring is done, I'm going to add ink splatters to my background to add some interest. You can use a post-it note or scrap paper if you want to, but I'm going to use a die cut to protect my watercolor image from ink splatters. I'm pulling out the die from the Floral 1 die set and running it through my die cut machine to create a mask. After covering my watercolor image with die cut mask and placing my sentiment stamp on the bottom of my panel, I'm going to splatter the background with 5 different paint colors. I'm drying my watercolor panel between each color as I don't want them to mix together. This splatter watercolor technique is a bit random but can create some very fun results. So I strongly recommend you give it a try if you haven't done so. I'm going to use my heat tool again to make sure that everything is dry before I move on. Then I'll be stamping the sentiment from the Floral 1 stamp set with black ink using my original Misty stamping tool. Since I didn't get a good impression, I'm going to stamp it one more time to get a nice impression. To create an organic look, I decided to add splatters to my watercolored images as well. However, I'm trying not to add too many splatters on my image. I'm using my heat tool again to dry my watercolor panel, and I'm going to mount the panel onto A2 size top folding white card base with a glue tape. To finish off my card, I'm going to stamp the sentiment from the Word series Believe stamp set inside my card using a black ink. That's all for today. If you like my video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to this YouTube channel. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time with another video. Bye bye!